r/AskReddit. Serious. People who recovered from COVID-19. What was it like? Male, 30, no pre-existing conditions or other significant risk factors. Day 1, slight sore throat and a little coughing in the morning. Couldn't really ever wake up from the morning. Day 2 to 4, fatigue, body aches, headache that made it hard to process information, pretty mild respiratory symptoms. Day 5 to 7, slight fatigue. Day 7 to 10, no symptoms. I had a very mild case. I'm 32 and otherwise healthy. I was on a plane back from the UK on March 17th, and when I got home I experienced practically the exact same thing. There weren't any reported cases on the flight, but there were some cases on the same airplane from previous and later flights. I tried to get tested, but at that time the capacity didn't exist, and by the time of my appointment all of my symptoms subsided, and they said that the chance of producing enough viral load to be detectable was unlikely. If it weren't for the sore throat and aches, I would have just thought it was jet lag, but I may never know for sure if I had COVID. Copper posted from a previous thread I replied to. I had it in mid-March, New York resident, and am fine now. First 3 days, Friday Sunday, I had extremely mild symptoms. My throat just didn't seem quite right. I was sneezing due to the window's breeze more easily than I should have, since it was too early for allergy season. I also inhaled the water I was drinking multiple times over the weekend. I noticed, but thought I was being paranoid. Day 4, Monday, they sent everyone home, to work from home at around noon. I waited in a crowded grocery line, since this was the day they started limiting how many people could enter. Around 3 hours later it had clearly spread to my lungs from the upper respiratory tract. I could feel the fluid in my lungs. My breathing wasn't steady, felt like sandpaper rubbing on sandpaper, and it was clear I was sick. I started coughing up sputum on day 5, Tuesday. I'd cough once, clear the fluid from my lungs and breath normally, and then it'd slowly get worse over the course of an hour, until I coughed again. Repeat. Day 6, Wednesday, fever. This was the first day I actually felt sick. You know, normal fever symptoms, fever, muscle aches, sweating, etc. I called out sick, remember working from home at this point anyways. Day 8, Friday, was feeling better. Halfway between better and sick. I resumed working. Day 9, Saturday, woke up to the smell of my pillow, and was promptly weirded out. I didn't notice when my smell/taste disappeared, but I definitely noticed it came back. Everything from my pillow, my shirt, the wooden table, etc. smelt. It wouldn't be for another week or two before the loss of sense of smell/taste symptom was discovered, so I had no idea what was going on at the time. Anyways, at this point I felt better again. Day 10 plus, a bit of coughing persisted for a couple days after that, but I felt healthy again. I never even came close to needing to be hospitalized, though, so lucky me. Girlfriend and I both, 25Y/O, tested positive for COVID in late March. No pre-existing conditions, we are both in excellent shape, and eat healthy as well. I was sick for 28 days straight. Longest, most taxing illness of my life. Over that time I had 3 different rounds of fevers, and couldn't get out of bed for most days. The thing about COVID was just how long every single day felt. There was a couple times I felt so sick I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. My girlfriend was sick for a solid 10 to 12 days, but was not nearly as ill as I was. I had fully lost my sense of smell from COVID. Until 2 weeks ago, when I fell 6 feet and got a severe concussion, my sense of smell returned. Crazy and makes no sense to me, but I'm incredibly thankful to be able to smell trees and flowers and food, man. Anyways, now we both have antibodies and are feeling back to strength. We ran 27 miles this past Saturday. My response might get buried, but I had these warts attacking my hands and fingers for years. Lasers, freezing, squaric acid, all kinds of stuff. Nothing worked. Then I caught COVID in March. I was sick for 2 weeks. Stomach problems, persistent cough. My running ability was impacted clearly for a while, but whatever happened in my body literally killed every wart I had. So I'm in the minority. Insane COVID definitely helped me. Immune system got loaded for bear, I guess. That's my best theory. My derm was very clear with me when I first met him about treatment. He's like, we can freeze these and use lasers, but you need to know that this exists because your immune system is not fighting it off like it should. Maybe the COVID kicked everything into high gear and my immune system got the picture? All I know is I can tap my fingertip on a table, it doesn't hurt anymore, and I can't believe they're gone. It's like a second chance to have hands. I felt like I had the flu and only got tested because of the pandemic. My flu-like symptoms lasted 3 days before I recovered, but I've had no sense of smell for over a month. I had my daughter tested when my results came back positive and hers did as well. She, however, never developed so much as a low-grade fever. My girlfriend tested positive also, but her primary symptom was headaches. As someone who has had the flu twice and the swine flu once, either of those were much worse for me. I got the swine flu when I was young and nothing has compared to that for me. I haven't gotten COVID yet. I've had mono, bacteria infections, pneumonia, bronchitis and strep. Literally none have put a finger on the swine flu. Hearing people say it took them a month to fully recover doesn't sound bad at all to me. I haven't had swine flu, but I've had COVID recently, and I used to get strep constantly until I had my tonsils removed about 7 years ago. Since then, I've only had it once. So I don't know if it'll be much comfort to you, since I don't have swine flu as a comparison, but I will say that my first symptom with COVID was a sore throat that felt strep-like. That symptom lasted for a day or two. But for me, the worst that COVID got was still preferable over any day that I had strep. Honestly, I'd take my COVID symptoms over most bouts of cold and flu that I've experienced. I would say from onset to feeling back to normal was about 2 weeks for me with COVID. If you have been through as many illnesses as you've listed, I really expect that COVID would feel very much manageable to you. I hope that helps alleviate your concern a little. Stay well. Started off with a cough and then progressed to fatigue, chills, dizziness, and a mess of other symptoms I can't even remember. I never had a fever, nor did I lose my sense of smell/taste. The thing that was the hardest to deal with was the fatigue. I would debate drinking water because that meant I would have to walk to the bathroom. I have a bathroom connected to my bedroom. It took about 2 weeks to recover, although my cough hasn't gone away. Overall, it was awful. I'm terrified of getting sick again. I have it right now. I think around day 5 or so. Coughing feels like sandpaper in my throat, and I'm coughing up mucus. I have to shit about once an hour. Even if I can't, it's just the feeling of needing to. My fever is on/off, and going upstairs to my apartment makes me dizzy and short of breath. I can taste, but in a weird way, I had wings, and my mouth burned from the spices, but I didn't taste the spice. And my smell is degrading slowly. My boyfriend and I both got it, and we were both fairly mild cases, but we also both had different symptoms, and we lived together. For me it was mostly exhaustion. I would climb stairs and almost pass out, because my heart was beating so fast. I also had a cough and chest pain. It was almost as if I couldn't get all of the air out of my lungs, so I couldn't breathe in as much either, and my breaths were very shallow. I never got the fever, but I had one night where it was like I was drunk without having had any substances. My boyfriend had it a lot worse. He was bedridden for days, he had a fever, he was throwing up at one point, the nausea was terrible, really bad cough and chest pain, etc. He said it was like having a weeks-long hangover without the fun night before. We both recovered after about 3 weeks, although I think both of our lungs are still fairly damaged from it. I now have an inhaler for when I'm exerting myself, because I can't seem to catch my breath or breathe like I used to. I used to go to school for opera, so I had insanely good lungs, never had asthma or anything like that. My boyfriend sang too. That's honestly probably what saved us. Both me and my girlfriend had it. She got it first, and then I got it like a couple of days later. It started with the throat not feeling right, and eventually I got a relatively mild fever. The worst part was probably the feeling that you're breathing, but your body is only getting like 70% of the oxygen it needs. It's not that I can't breathe, it's just that it doesn't satisfy my body, if that makes sense. I got all better approximate a little more than a week later. Then when I went back to work and was picking up a box of bananas to move them, my body reacted to it like I had been running on the tracks for an hour. I was beat. After like one box, I move another, and I'm so tired I wanna lie down. I told my boss I couldn't work because my body was exhausted when doing any physical work 2 weeks after that day, and I was all better. But something is different. I don't know if it's that my antihistamines are less effective or what it is, but sometimes it feels like I have something in my airways that needs to be cleaned or something. Like I want to cough it out cause it's blocking the pipes, but it's so far down. Coughing doesn't help. And also, I've had a brain fog every once in a while, more than usual. When it happens, it's like how you feel when the weed's worn off, but there's some of it in your body still. That kind of fog. Male, mid-50s, overweight. The 28th of April initial infection. The 1st of May knew something was wrong that evening. Slight body aches. The 2nd of May woke up with 101.6 F fever and the Hershey squirts. By middle of day fever to 102.5. The bathroom became my live-in palace. Coughing but no serious congestion. The 3rd of May fever broke in afternoon, down to low grade 101 F. Felt like I was the loser of a bad fight. Terrible body aches, shades of my kidney stone experience. The 6th of May about back to normal. The 11th of May confirmation of COVID. Pre-infection regime, self-quarantine, FASA mask, vitamin D supplement, vitamin C supplement. On evening of the 1st of May took dose of ivermectin. The only lasting effect is a possible lack of energy/intermittent shortness of breath. Was fine before, but now this lack of energy is a bit bothersome. Big doctor visit/test day at end of next week to see what is the cause of my problems or whether the whole thing is psychosomatic. Watch your parents/grandparents. I have lost 2 clients to COVID in the last 6 weeks, both in their 70s. Be safe.